Greetings, friend. Jacque Howard here, and welcome to Trenton 365. This is going to be a bit of a shorter segment, mainly because I want to set 2022 up differently than I have in the past, meaning I want to start connecting some of the dots, meaning the different outlets that we have, bringing them together so that we can start looking at this at the macro level. What is it that local media is? Is local media more than just the fluff? Is it more than just a complaining space? What does it really look like when we're considering the economy as a whole, or us as citizens, et cetera, as a whole? So we're going to be breaking those things down, going through some of the different outlets that we have, one of which is Bridge the Vote. And Bridge the Vote is a Facebook page, and it's also a hashtag. So hashtag Bridge the Vote. The focus of Bridge the Vote is on politics, but on politics at a different level, mainly local politics, because that's where I live, and that's where my co-creator Will Foskey and filmmaker Will Foskey, that's where we are, and this is our local communities. So the idea is, how do we get people engaged in the voting process? And what's the best way to do that? That is, one, to show as an example our involvement, but also to provide educational opportunities for people who don't know what the process is, to be able to at least connect them with others who can explain to them what the process is, and explain it to them in a way that they can comprehend it and they can take it, and then they can move on forward. Bridge the Vote is not a space to just complain. It is not a space to female dog what's going on, or to blast the city of Trenton and politics in general. Bridge the Vote is a space where people can come, get information that's factual information. And when I say factual information, it's what is provided, what can be followed up on. And a lot of encouragement for folks to recognize the power that they have as individuals, and as neighborhoods, and as wards, and as communities, to drive the political space, which again is the economy. It is also healthcare. It is also school system. All those different things are all mitigated, so to speak, by politics. So it behooves us to be involved in politics at the local level, and then bubble it up from there, and then hopefully, it comes back in return. But Trenton, for example, 2021, we've had some major changes in our council. So now elections are going to be moved from May. They'll be in the fall or winter, corresponding with other elections. Of course, there's always going to be people who are going to be on both sides of that. We are not here to make your mind up for you. We're here to just tell you this, and hopefully you'll tell some other folks, and that will then get more people asking questions, because we are at a space where questions aren't even being asked. When I say questions aren't being asked, a few that I know we've had internally is certifying of petitions. Do we have the capacity to do that? Do we have the registered voters to have petitions that are certifiable from this number of candidates? I don't know the exact number of candidates. I'm here in early January, January 1st, actually, 2022. I don't have the exact number, but I've heard that it's upwards of 24 people who are running for city council positions. Another question is going to be, how do we educate folks of this process, but also move the city forward? Because we can't just stop what we're doing until we get caught up in certain areas, like in leadership. So how do we, as residents and as citizens, how do we do all this? Still celebrating New Year's here in Franklin Park, a section of Trenton and South Ward. Fireworks going on. So on the Bridge the Vote page, we're going to be sitting down with uh, all kinds of folks who are in a political space, and not for it to be a space for them to come and advertise or promote. It's a place to come and share their platform. When I say share their platform, hey, this is what they're planning on doing. This is what their thoughts are on this, and we'll make it public. And then it'll be up to the residents to take that time to do some homework and follow up and say, hey, look, the person who's running for my ward believes this. How do I connect with them and let them know how I feel about that? And that all ties back to the idea of just being civically engaged. This will be distributed through, the ever-growing number of outlets and things that I have. Of course, it'll be branded as Trenton 365. And big shout out to Stellar Event Designs, Stelly and Howard, for the t-shirt printing. Also through radio and television, WIMG 1300, big shout out to them. The 5-time Stellar Gospel Award-winning station that has hosted Trenton 365 from the beginning. Additionally, this will be shared through all the traditional social media spaces, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Now, when it comes to the Bridge the Vote early conversations that we are going to start off with is voter registration. And what does that look like? And why, first of all, is it something that isn't spoken and constantly on folks' minds? Because I feel as though whenever I see it happening, it's just during election times. And I don't think that they're reaching the masses of the people. I live in a city here in Trenton. It's the population it's very diverse, but it's an ever growing number of Spanish speaking and Latino or Latin A population. But I don't see a lot of literature distributed or shared in Spanish. I would think that we should be offering up those opportunities to our residents to engage as soon as they get, involved in the residency here in the city. And hopefully we can find out some answers to that. I know in the past I've spoken to at public events like the League of Women Voters, and I think the Mercer County Democratic Women's Association. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but the League of Women Voters League. And I want to follow up with them again and ask them what that campaign is and what it looks like, and why aren't we jumping with it right now? Why aren't we doing it, immediately, so that we can get those numbers up, get the young people involved in the process, and also start asking questions about potentially what voting is going to look like going forward. How are we going to improve from the last elections? I shot a video that I took, or captured a video during my my last local election, and it was kind of embarrassing the way it was run. And I just don't know how we're going to. I mean, we need to talk about how we're going to evolve as a society and how we're going to get better, just with some infrastructure things. But hopefully the League of Women Voters and other voting organizations that encourage people to vote will come and be in contact, so we can figure out how we can get the opinions and the thoughts of others who are here registered to vote. It's only fair. I mean, I shouldn't even say fair. That's what the process is. That's what democracy is. People being able to vote. I'm not quite sure of how it's going to be framed, because I want to make it very understandable, and I can't fully grasp it. But the redrawing of districts and how that impacts elections and things. And I was kind of confused when I heard that in certain areas it was controlled by certain parties. And again, I'm just wondering, what about the folks who don't belong to either one of the parties? Do they just not matter? I mean, I don't know. So that's another question. But as soon as I find out more about what that process is and what that looks like, the how the districting lines are drawn at the state level, the county level, as well as in the city of Trenton level. Hopefully I can find out a little bit more about that, because I don't know enough to really tell people about it, but I do know that it impacts a lot of things. So hopefully we can talk about that in the future. The 2022 election for Trenton, again, I'd mentioned that I don't know how many people are running, but I've heard that there's upwards of 30 people who are seeking the council seats, and that some of the folks who are currently elected are going to retire. And that would be March Caldwell Wilson in the North Ward and George Michaud in the South Ward. It's also been rumored that Jarrell Blakely has said he's not going to run. But again, I mean, at this point, until someone, says, hey, publicly, this is what I'm doing, and there's some sort of compiled list, I mean, I find it hard for us to really know who's doing what and the reasoning behind what they're doing. Could it be doing so that they can garner some type of support? Is there another initiative that they're supporting? Is there another strategy? I don't know. I don't know that much about how the political game is fully played. But I have asked several of them who had mentioned that they were, or were rumored to, that they were running, if they would sit down and talk to me. Just have a, interview chat, talk about, the different things that they've seen over this last elected group, what their plans are, and to just see what that looks like. Some of them said, just going to wait until January. Well, January's here. Again, this was earlier in October, November, and prior to January. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is to wait, but okay, that's fine. So I'm reaching out to them, the ones who are currently elected, the ones who are going to be incumbents or run again, and those who want to run for the first time, and give them an opportunity to share about what's on their mind, so that they can get some more eyes on themselves and on their work or potential work. One other area of focus is also going to be on the responsibilities of each position. Now, I think that there's also folks who are in this position where they have folks who are telling them, no, you can do this, you can win the election. But what does that really look like? I mean, if you win the election and maybe you find out that that's not what the job entails, or you can't do what you thought you could do you end up becoming something other than you expected? Because it sure would be foolish to think that you could come in and start making sweeping changes or directional changes from a ward perspective without recognizing that you have to get other members of council on board, et cetera, or that it may not even be part of your responsibility. Or if you're running on a particular platform that should be handled at the directorship level, meaning like litter control. Or maybe you think that you're going to change the school board or any of those things. I hope that the folks who are running are asking themselves those questions. One, is it your responsibility? And is it the responsibility of that position? Or do you have a full plan together? Because I'm sure I would say most of the folks who've run for the office went in with the intention of being able to change the world or change Trenton and so forth. And I think that we can see that there's still some challenges and things that are going on. So I am short on time. Let me just say one more thing. The Facebook page is Bridge the Vote on Facebook. The videos and things will be there as well. I also want to make sure that we say this, that to the folks who are small business owners, nonprofit organizations, chambers of commerce, et cetera, in the area, please consider what you're going to do as far as getting your word out. Reach out to us. We've got a bunch of different outlets, and we're to help you grow and to expand this area, because we believe that civic engagement, conversations across the table, are what we need to build a better community for everyone. Jacque Howard here, reminding you it's always about justice, peace, and humility.